let us discuss, did the Seahawks defense win it, or did the Patriots offense lose it in Super Bowl 60? So my thoughts on this, I've got commandeered, brand ambassador, and senior fellow. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make some spaghetti and meatballs, which will be more enjoyable and more memorable than what we watched in this Super Bowl. So, A, the answer to the question, did the Seahawks defense win it, or did the Patriots offense lose it? The arrow on the Maller scoreboard is pointing towards the New England offense, and particularly drakemaye, and it's blinking red like a hazard light. That's what it sounds like. It's blinking. Yeah, might want to get that checked. So the Maller mantra, if you've been with me at all over the years, you know, one of the Maller mantras that we have here is the fact that most games are lost, they're not won. So it is. Most games are lost, they're not won. And on this night in Santa Clara, drakemaye, he was there. He commandeered the Vomit Comet. And it was puke in the air everywhere. 3/4 of some of the worst football you'll ever see in your life. On the biggest stage, the biggest moment, the lights were too bright. This guy choked. He choked. He looked seasick, dizzy, and unsure which galaxy he was in. drakemaye. Holy cannoli, right? Turn the ball over often. Pop gun throws, bad decisions, panic in the air everywhere. That's drakemaye. So let's slow down. Like, this was not forced by the Seahawks defense. Seahawks defense was good. This is not a mythological defense. Let's not get carried away. This is not the Legion of Boom. I'd rather have those guys. It's not certainly the 85 Bears or that. It was the 2000 Ravens with Ray Lewis. Where's the white suit, Ray, back in the day? They didn't dominate history. They didn't. They accepted gifts, and nicely wrapped gifts at that. And from drakemaye, which I believe, if my math is correct, 2 touchdowns courtesy of drakemaye gifts to the Seattle Seahawks. There were guys open. I'm telling you, there were guys open on my TV. Maybe it was my TV. There were guys open, and May's compass was broken. His internal clock needed some new batteries, and as a result, the Patriots offense ended up running on fumes in this game. Now, there were a bunch of garbage time completions. That doesn't really do anything for me. Maybe for you it does. But that's window dressing. You've wrecked the car. The car's a jalopy. It's all torn up. It's disheveled. And now, congratulations. And put some window dressing on it. So, Seattle did not steal, right? Did not steal the Lombardi. They did not. New England left it on the curb, and they put it on offer up and said, here, take that. There's some trash out there. It's a little piece of metal, as Rob Manfred would call it, the baseball commissioner. So go pick it up. Okay, I'll pick it up. Why not? What the heck? What do you have to do? All right, here's drakemaye. We'll play one of these here. Cut one from drakemaye on being unable to sustain the offensive rhythm of the day. Take a listen.
Credit to them. We were moving it solid in the first couple of drives, and would just have a couple negative plays that would kind of push behind the chains, and then from there we just couldn't stay ahead of the chains, and 3rd and short we couldn't pick up some first downs, and they had brought some pressure where they got us a few times, and just got to be better with the football, make better decisions, and I got to make better throws when the game is is like that. I got to make some throws to help us move the football.
Holy cannoli. My goodness. How boring is he? All right, but wait, there's more. Page 2 here. Keeping the beat going and going and going and going. We keep the beat going here. And here's more from drakemaye, and talking about this as a learning opportunity. Take a listen.
That's what fuels you, and I think that's the biggest thing about life is you're going to have times like this, and it's how you bounce back. And I think, all those guys in that locker room are going to use this as fuel, and I think, go to war with those guys anytime, any day, anywhere. It's motivation to get back here and not have this feeling and have what they're feeling out there.
Yeah. Well, you want to go to war? Just not in the Super Bowl. You do not want to go to war with him in the Super Bowl. Now the question, I noticed this at the end of the broadcast. NBC's Chris Collinsworth described the Patriots quarterback drakemaye's performance as a, quote, learning experience, is what he said. Is that how you see it? So And you heard what Drake May said. Drake May also said that in the postgame. But during the broadcast, Chris Collinsworth was like, "Wow, it was a learning experience." So my reaction to that, this is not summer school. It is not, right? This was Super Bowl 60. It's finals week. It's the final exam. And Drake May showed up without a pencil. Well, you got to have a pencil. But it's 2026. I don't care. You have to have a pencil. You didn't have a pencil, numbnuts. Learning experience is what you say when your kid spills a juice on the carpet. You say, well, that was a learning experience. Don't do it again, okay? Not when your quarterback turns the biggest stage into a slip and slide, which is what Drake May did in this game. May wasn't just bad. He wasn't just bad. He was a walking caution sign. Mayday, mayday, mayday. I'm telling you, balls were behind receivers that were catchable. They were open. It wasn't shut down Seattle defense. Lack of awareness in terms of like a house cat, the clock awareness of a house cat. You got to know you got to get rid of the ball. And you shouldn't be getting sacked as often as Drake May gets sacked. That's a bad sign for the future of Drake May. Holding the ball like like it owed him money or something like that, and he sucked at a time you cannot suck. The lights were nuclear bright. We all know it, right? I mean, this is not a great matchup, not a sexy matchup. Nobody gets all horny to watch Seattle and New England, these teams lacking star power. And the game went the way we thought it would go. It was boring. But Drake May became a brand ambassador in this game for dude wipes because there was a lot of poo-poo on the field there. Stinky, messy situation, really from soup to nuts. And let's stop the Pop Warner excuses. Like the Patriots, we knew going in they played a cream puff schedule. And even with that, this was still a winnable game. They just decided to give it to Seattle, right? You played the cream puff schedule all year, and here's another opportunity against Sam Darnold, who didn't even play well. You played worse than Sam Darnold. For God's sakes, that's embarrassing. That should be a felony for Drake May. Sam Darnold didn't suck as much as you did. Now, Drake May got a bunch of stats in the fourth quarter. The game was already over. But come on now. He was a net negative. And then Collinsworth wants to call it growth. And I call it stepping into a ditch wearing concrete cleats is what I call it there. It was not a lesson. It was a warning situation here. As the great philosopher Eminem taught me years ago, you only get one shot. And there's no guarantee at all that the Patriots will be back with Drake May. And Drake May could be selling insurance within 5 years. You never know. Opportunities are short-lived. Drake May blew his. He blew it. He was terrible, and I don't want to hear any excuses. The guy sucked, okay? Drake May was an embarrassment to the quarterback position. That guy, he couldn't handle the moment, just like he sucked in these other games, and all my guys in Boston were like, well, it's okay. It's you. You'll be fine. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, he wasn't fine. Okay, he wasn't fine, you losers. All right, last word here. To the coaching ranks. So the question here is, what does this Super Bowl win do for the legend, for the resume of Seattle Seahawks coach Mike Macdonald? What does this win do? You are now, for the rest of your career, a champion. On your Wikipedia page, it'll say Super Bowl champion coach. On your Pro Football Reference page, it'll say Super Bowl championship coach. So what does this do? Well, it does that. It's a puffy sticker for Mike Macdonald. It's a puffy sticker. That's it. You move along. Everyone's acting like this turns him into the reincarnation of Vince Lombardi or something like that. It doesn't. And Macdonald, he wins the game. And even during the broadcast, they were talking about, Tirico was talking about the fact, and he was saying this on the broadcast late in the game, that he's a nice guy. And essentially, the way I interpreted it, they were saying, well, he's a nice guy with the personality of drywall, of absolute drywall. So Mike Macdonald, even with this, is not a brand. He's not a presence. I know Nostradamus says, what are you talking about? I can't believe it. Oh, my God. Oh, I got a shrine to him. Oh, calm down, okay? He's iceberg lettuce. No dressing, no croutons. That's what Mike Macdonald is. And even with this, when you forget he's on the plate halfway through the meal, he doesn't move the needle, and this does not make him a household name. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe I'm correct on this, Mike Macdonald, the Seattle's coach, is still a senior fellow at the Dullsmore Society. He's pleasant, he's polite, he's completely anonymous, and history is littered with coaches that have won Super Bowls and yet failed to really establish themselves as a household name, as a brand. If you want to go somewhat recently, Doug Peterson in Philadelphia, a Super Bowl winning coach, and not very memorable. Gary Kubiak won with the Broncos. Again, doesn't stand out. You want to go back a few more decades. George Seifert with the 49ers won, I believe, a couple with the Niners, inheriting great Hall of Fame players, but nothing really memorable about George Seifert in that era. So, yeah, you got a ring on the finger and dust on the legacy and all that, so that's great. This Super Bowl 60, it doesn't elevate Mike Macdonald. It laminates the resume, if you will. And you know what? Congratulations, you won. But I don't think there's anything memorable that we will take from this game. If you can tell me one thing memorable about Mike Macdonald, I'll wait for that. Just the game in general, but him in particular. I didn't see anything, and I watched the whole thing. The commercials weren't very good. The pregame stuff was really annoying. I had that on in the background, and it was just kind of okay. It was fine. It was a Super Bowl, and we'll move on, and we'll hope for better Super Bowls in the years to come, because this was not it. This was not a good product, and just the whole thing from beginning to end. It was not necessarily because of the broadcasters. It was just the teams that were playing, very unmemorable for the casual observer of the Super Bowl.